Buea remains the focus as bishops of Cameroon officially kickstart their annual seminar. The 48th session was launched today, characterized by varied speeches from the religious authorities and administrative officials on the theme synodality. Vatican makes history, appoints first female prefect to the Dicastery for Institute of Consecrated Life and Societies of Apostolic Life. And in other news, schools in the Diocese of Buea have effectively taken off for the second term. The Education Secretary, Reverend Father Vincent Mesue, made stops to some of the schools to evaluate the effectiveness. Good evening and thanks for joining us. These stories and more will be read out to you in just a moment. You're welcome back. His Grace Andrew Kreya, President of the National Episcopal Conference, NEC, has called on Cameroonians to stop pointing fingers at others for failing to build the country and be responsible citizens, each playing their role towards building a better Cameroon. He made the remark today during the solemn opening ceremony of the 48th annual seminar of the bishops that took place this January 17 in Buea. Magdalene Wando was there. She has the details.
The 48th annual seminar of bishops of Cameroon, hosted by the Diocese of Buea, is officially open. The solemn opening at the Catholic Men's Association National Secretariat comes after 46 years Buea Diocese last hosted the seminar in Mutengene, with just 9 bishops then in Cameroon. In welcoming the bishops, His Lordship Michael Bibi, Bishop of the host diocese, acknowledged that the mere coming together of the bishops is a sign of communion and synodality expressed in its fullness. He further called for collaboration among bishops and participation of Christians in communion of love and unity in diversity.
The visits of the bishops of Cameroon to Buea is already a practical sign of synodality, which promotes communion, love, and unity in diversity. It confirms the full collaboration of the bishops and the church in Cameroon, not tagged as English or French, but understood as one family of God. A church seen as a communion of different parts of a whole that form the mystical body of Christ. This is a safe space and a conducive environment that helps us reflect as one family. Our singular objective, therefore, is to propose ways that will assist the church in Cameroon to practice the spirit of synodality.
The President of the National Episcopal Conference of Cameroon, His Grace Andrew Kreya, on his part, beckoned on Cameroonians to take up the responsibility in construction of the country and not to stay on the fence and act as hypocrites. His Grace Andrew Kreya also noted that the way forward is for Cameroonians to be reconciled with God and our neighbors, a reconciliation void of hatred and corruption.
There is a need, therefore, for every single Cameroonian to take his or her own responsibility for the construction of our country. Our biggest sin and our biggest weakness is pointing fingers to others. Everybody, get up, fold your sleeves, let us build our country and stop making noise. The way forward, therefore, should be that of reconciliation with God and our neighbor.
His Grace Andrew Kreya encouraged Cameroonians to hold on to the virtue of hope for a brighter future drawn from the Holy Father, Pope Francis' Jubilee message of hope.
Dear brothers and sisters, in our Cameroonian context, there is a real need to live in this hope which does not deceive. A hope which is an open door to a better day for our country and for ourselves. Such hope has its roots in the greatest gift of God to the world, which is peace. Hope indeed is a call to sow seeds of peace. We have just celebrated the 56th World Day of Peace on the 1st of January 2025. And Pope Francis gave us a message entitled, "Forgive our trespasses, grant us your peace."
History has it that it was in January 1979 that the Diocese of Buea hosted the annual Bishop Seminar in Mutengene when Cameroon had 9 bishops, and today Cameroon has 26 bishops, which is a visible sign of the church's growth over the years.
And also the opening ceremony witnessed a performance from artists like Polycarp Nouveau and Aloysius Fonkem, who all through the bishop with beautiful welcome messages. Nadesh Nechongme was on ground. She captured these highlights for us.
It was an atmosphere of joy at the Catholic Men Association National Secretariat this January 7 as quietly faithful, dressed in different apostolic group uniforms alongside military, civil and traditional authorities, converged to witness the solemn opening of the 48th Annual Seminar of Bishops of Cameroon. The opening event witnessed performances by Aloysius and Polycarp Nouveau, each bringing a unique message of welcome to the bishops and their collaborators. According to Polycarp Nouveau, his piece was meant to introduce the population to the various ecclesiastical provinces of Cameroon.
President of the Episcopal Conference and Emeritus Archbishop Eswo, Diocese of Kumbo, Bishop John Kuo.
In that song, I actually wanted to also educate our population of this diocese to know the different ecclesiastical provinces of Cameroon. That's why I went ecclesiastical province by ecclesiastical province to welcome them, and also giving the names of the bishops of each diocese. So that at least that song will be like a source of education for our population to know which bishop is in which diocese.
Meanwhile, Aloysius shared a beautiful composition inspired by the Bakri culture, paying homage to the traditions of the region.
And we went into their culture in a celebrative dance, church dance, and had to work out a piece of music that is simple, that anybody can relate to, and everybody can understand, and just to welcome our bishop. So it sounds like all people from Buea, of the Diocese of Buea, are just echoing welcome to the Diocese of Buea.
The St. Francis of Assisi choir from Buea Town also joined in, offering beautiful a cappella rendition that kept the audience bound to the end. For many participants, witnessing such an event for the first time, they could not hide their joy at being part of such a momentous occasion.
I think this is something that happens in one's lifetime. I think 46 years ago, I could not attend the one that held in Mutene 1979. And if I'm attending now, I feel like first time meeting the bishops of Cameroon, I feel like I'm in heaven already. No, see alive. So it is so, I'm so elated, I'm so happy.
This is my first time of attending this kind of opening ceremony. So I'm so happy seeing all the bishops, the priests, and everybody in the Diocese of Buea. I'm so very happy.
The sight, sounds and performances of the day will undoubtedly remain in the minds of those who attended the ceremony.
And also in this groundbreaking move, for Francis has appointed Sister Simona Brambilla, an Italian nun, as head of the dicastery of the Institute of Consecrated Life and Societies of Apostolic Life. This appointment marks the first time a woman is heading a dicastery in Rome, showing the Catholic Church commitment towards inclusivity. Bernard Assange, seminarian and pastoral, here with the details.
In a groundbreaking move, Pope Francis appointed Sister Simona Brambilla as the prefect of the dicastery of the Institute of Consecrated Life and Apostolic Life. This historic appointment marks the first time a woman has been named to lead a dicastery, a major department of the Roman Curia. As prefect, Sister Brambilla will be responsible for promoting evangelization efforts worldwide and will be in charge of over 600,000 nuns and 129,000 religious priests around the world.
We have anticipated over the last few years, especially since the promulgation of the decree called Predicate Evangelium, that there would be women continuing to be promoted to different Vatican offices. We've seen that as really one of the hallmarks of this pontificate.
Sister Simona Brambilla is an Italian nun born on March 27, 1965 in Monza, Italy. She is a member of the Consolata Missionary Sisters. Her impressive background includes a diploma in nursing, a licentiate in psychology from the Pontifical Gregorian University, and a doctorate in psychology. She has worked as a missionary in Mozambique, taught at the Pontifical Gregorian Institute of Psychology, and served as the Superior General of the Consolata Missionary Sisters from 2011 to 2023. In October 2023, Pope Francis appointed her as the Secretary of the Dicastery for Institutes of Consecrated Life and Societies of Apostolic Life, making her one of the highest-ranking women in the Roman Curia. And on January 6, 2025, she was appointed as the prefect of the same dicastery, a groundbreaking moment in the history of the Catholic Church.
One of the real determinations on the part of Pope Francis, both to elevate the role of women across the board. Now we have about 23% of Vatican employees are women, especially holding positions of authority. And this is a pattern, I think, that we're going to see continuing. So all things are possible. It's worth noting, however, that she will be joined in this new leadership role by a cardinal who will be actually working for her. And that is Cardinal Angel Fernandez Artim, who will be pro-prefect of the same dicastery, in part because there are certain functions that still have to remain among those who are ordained.
In a statement, the Vatican's spokesman, Matteo Bruni, said the appointment of Sister Simona Brambilla as the head of a dicastery is a significant moment for the Catholic Church. Pope Francis has once again demonstrated his commitment in promoting women's leadership and inclusion in the Church's leadership. Worth noting is that since the start of Pope Francis's papacy, the number of women involved in leadership roles in the Church have increased from 19.2% to 23.4%.
Brother Franklin Fomunkam reporter. Now let's go back to the ongoing Bishop Seminar where during his opening address, the Chief Shepherd of Boya, Bishop Michael Bibi, recognized and extended words of gratitude to some individuals towards their contribution in the completion of the Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral and the ongoing Bishop Seminar. Hilaron took off now with an excerpt of the Bishop's words of gratitude.
We all witness the dedication of the Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral during the inaugural Mass of the opening of the seminar that we celebrated. It was joyful and historic, and I think that in our local church, it will forever remain in our minds. We will forever remain thankful to everyone who contributed in one way or the other to the realization of the Co-Cathedral project. Yesterday, we had the opportunity to have our recollection at the Our Lady of Grace Shrine in Medyo in Sase. It was a spirit-filled moment for each and every one of us. I would like to use this opportunity to sincerely thank Madame Kate, who sacrificed a lot as far as the construction and the roofing of the Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral is concerned. I thank her for her generosity. I thank her for her generosity in making sure that she constructed the Our Lady of Grace Shrine and handed to the diocese. I equally thank her for the recent renovation that we have experienced at that shrine. The recent renovation of the shrine by her was providential as it coincided with the visit of the bishops of Cameroon for their recollection. Talking with one of the bishops yesterday, he told me that when he heard that we're going to the shrine, he was asking himself what we're going to do there, why we could not have our recollection at the pastoral center. But when he went there, saw what was there, he said it was a very wise decision. I am sure my brother bishops, we all will share the same sentiments. I also want to use this opportunity to express sincere gratitude to the Archbishop of Yaoundé, His Grace Archbishop Jean Baga. On 2 occasions, after he permitted me, I made a visit to St. Peter and Paul Parish in Simbok and also to St. Joseph's Parish in Vogada when we had difficulties getting money to round up the work at the Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral. And in Simbok, we had a contribution of plus 14 million, while in Vogada, we had a contribution of 15.3 million. Somebody again, I think, I will not miss out. Je voudrais remercier Honorable François Puene, Mami Nyanga, the tallest woman in the hall, pour son engagement pratique et son assistance généreuse en vue de la préparation de cette session de séminaire des évêques. Mami Nyanga, c'est la maman des évêques, surtout la maman de l'évêque Bibi Michael.
The Bishop of Buea, Bishop Michael Bibi, extending words of gratitude to individuals who contributed towards the completion of the Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral and the ongoing seminar. Still on the Bishop's seminar, His Excellency Bernardo Calabila, Governor of the Southwest Region, and the Mayor of Buea have echoed the peace and tranquility that exists in the municipality, which has contributed towards the Diocese of Buea hosting this seminar. Hilarion took off with the details.
As part of the traditional obligation of the mayor of the hosting municipality to address the bishops during their annual seminar, the Lord Mayor of Buea, David Mafani Namange Esquire, took the stage to address the princes of the Roman Catholic Church in Cameroon during their 2025 seminar. He pointed out the similarities between the Diocese of Buea and the municipality of Buea, noting that just as the Diocese of Buea holds a history of being the first diocese in Cameroon, Buea municipality was also the first colonial capital of German Cameroon. His Excellency Bernard Okala Bilai of the Southwest region joined his voice to that of the Lord Mayor David Namange Esquire to echo the atmosphere of peace and unity in Buea and the Southwest region at large. This, to them, was evident in the conducive environment that encouraged the bishops to hold their seminar in Buea.
It is my humble belief that God Almighty touched your hearts to meet in Buea at this point in time in order to prove to the world that Buea is not at war as some negative-minded individuals want to represent us in the social media. We have regained normalcy because we are lovers of peace in line with Matthew chapter 5 verse 9, which states, and I quote, "Blessed are the peacemakers."
I consider the holding of this event in our regional headquarters as a consecration and recognition of the consistent efforts of the head of state and his government to ensure a return to peace and normalcy in this part of our country. Effort diligently implemented and followed up on the ground by the competent state authorities, the defense and security forces, as well as various persons of goodwill, as a recognition and blessing of the effort of the head of state, the beggar of peace, and other persons of goodwill faith, this region, as a tangible confirmation and implementation of the work of Christ himself. He said, and I quote, "I gave you peace, my peace I give you." End of quote.
Mayor David Mafani Namange further solicited the bishops to pray for the cleansing of the land and for God's guidance in directing the youth to join in building peace in Buea and the country at large.
We beg of you, Your Excellencies, not only to pray to cleanse our land, but equally for God Almighty to touch the hearts of a few misguided youths who may still be derailed, to join the peace-loving people in our developmental drive.
His Excellency Bernard Okala Bilai was also keen to recognize the positive role played by religious bodies, especially the Roman Catholic Church, in the promotion of peace.
More specifically, religious leaders who, through their prayers and various actions, courageously decided to overcome fear and enable the reopening of denominational schools, as well as sensitizing parents to send back their children to school. In this regard, I would like to avail myself of this opportunity to further salute and recognize the positive role played by religious authorities, most especially the Roman Catholic Church, in seeking and promoting this return to peace.
Both the governor and the Lord Mayor also acknowledged the infrastructural development in Buea municipality carried out by the Diocese of Buea. They congratulated the Buea Diocesan Christian community and their bishop. They also wished the bishops fruitful deliberations during their seminar.
And the importance of Braille to visually impaired persons cannot be overemphasized, as the writing system bridges the gap between the visually impaired. But more is yet to be done, as the people who uses this Braille system of writing needs to get into other areas, as we hear from a volunteer teacher, Princely Jukang, and put together this report is Sama Eileen, who spoke to him.
Meet Princely Jukang, a journalism student at the University of Buea who uses Braille on a daily basis for his studies. This visually impaired young man once volunteered at the Bulu Blind Center to teach other visually impaired how to use the Braille. Without the Braille, the visually impaired will not be able to read and write or get educated, a fundamental human right.
Braille is seen even by international organizations like the United Nations as fundamental to achieving the human rights for persons with visual impairment, because it is through it that they are able to get a grip of what is happening in the world.
The inclusion of persons with visual impairment will not be possible if communication is not fluid. Thus, all are expected to learn Braille writing, especially educators.
So what we'd say simply is that government should think of how they can accelerate the implementation of the policies they have in place. You have, in this country, it is well known that books should be transcribed, that newspapers should be available in Braille, that I should not go to the hospital and get a medical prescription and then wake up in the morning and take the wrong dosage because I could not read. But that is not done. So we have to think of ways to do this. There are commissions at the Ministry of Social Affairs that exist for that, and we can only but hope that the measures are accelerated. But even for non-governmental organizations, one must also be bold to suggest that they should think of ways to come in and do the job. 2021, the government ratified the Marrakesh Treaty, and that treaty was supposed to allow for the production of material in formats that persons with visually impaired can easily access, such as Braille. There's been no such production. I think the only one you think back to is the production of election pamphlets in 2018 in Braille.
According to Prince Will Njukang, the impact of technology on the use of Braille is huge.
Technology has impacted Braille in so many ways. It improved the way that we access Braille. So before, you needed to manually write everything like what I'm doing now. But today you have technologies that can do large print at a go, just the same way you do with a printer. So you pick up a Braille embosser and you can type text into, say, a laptop like this, and then just get to print.
Challenges faced by Braille users include, among others,
the challenges for Braille users in Cameroon are huge. The first is that with Braille you are already condemned to have very limited access to information. In this country, you are a journalist. In this country, there is no newspaper that is transcribed into Braille. That tells you a lot, that persons with visual impairment in this country are not as informed as they should be, because there is no system in place to ensure that they have that information. In this country, it is so easy for a person with visual impairment to run through nursery to university without ever getting hold of a textbook because those textbooks are not available in Braille. So there's a significant barrier when it comes to accessing information in Braille. And even Braille itself is still met with stigma. I remember getting into the classroom, my first year actually in secondary school, and someone is telling me what you're using is witchcraft.
It is worth mentioning that on January 4, the world commemorated the 2025 edition of World Braille Day, during which the Cameroon Human Rights Commission deplores the lack of Braille traffic signs in public and private places, the absence of audible warning devices for traffic lights, while encouraging parents of visually impaired children to take them to Braille training and initiation centers in order to ensure their development in all areas of social life, among other recommendations.
Still on education, schools across the Southwest region today enter for the second term of the 2024-2025 academic year. For this first day for school, some school authorities have put in place strategies to ensure a smooth term and discipline in what is considered as the shortest term in the school year. Jamilatu Tongtang visited some schools today and put together this report.
After a period of holidays characterized by festivities with Christmas and New Year celebrations, it is time for students and pupils to return to the classroom. This January 7th, 2025, schools across the Southwest region opened their doors again for the second term. The Education Secretary of the Diocese of Boya, Reverend Father Vincent Mesue, also visited some Catholic schools on the first day of school resumption and is pleased with the turnout of students and administrators.
I was very impressed with what I saw in the field. I went to Bishop Rogan, the students were there, teachers were there, the offices were really prepared, for effective beginning of schools. And you could see, during my interaction with the students and the teachers, I think everything was put in place already. And I'm sure they understand that this is the shortest term, and they are already making use of it right from the very first day.
The head teacher of the Catholic nursery and primary school, Sase, is also satisfied with the turnout, while outlining some strategies on how they can cover the syllabus of the Class 6 pupils despite the short term.
We started today, and I'm very impressed with the enrollment I had today, because today I am having an enrollment of 214 kids, pupils. So, in fact, I'm very happy because this is just the first day. Teachers, we had a staff meeting with them, and I told them, I advised them, we all agreed on what to do, that although the term is short, but we should look for possible means to make sure that we cover the syllabus for the whole year, because third term is just full of exam. So in order to do that, we suggested that some of the senior primary, they will add 30 minutes. They should add 30 minutes in their closing time, so that they try to cover up something.
The principal of Bishop Rogan Minor Seminary has also put in place disciplinary measures arrived at to see that their students catch up by all costs so as to effectively sit in for their public examinations.
We are glad to be back in school for the second term. It's going to be a short term but marked with different activities. And with this in mind, we have also looked at different strategies that we'll need to put in place to ensure that the 4 pillars of formation be properly handled. We had a meeting already, and in that meeting, we look at the pitfalls of the students during the first term and ensure that what we discussed in the class council will be able to put in place. Get more students avail themselves for reading and writing, so that during exams they'll be able to pick up. Ensure that during preps we have teachers who pass around again to motivate children and students so that they take time and study well.
Worthy of note is that the second term of every school year is considered the shortest. As such, authorities have to be very intentional and strategic in their approach when it comes to discipline and effective studies.
And on today's sad note, the Bishop of Kumba, Bishop Agabitus Fon, priests, religious and Christly faithful gathered to honor the life of Sister Albertine Dino, a sister of St. Teresa of the Child Jesus of Boya, who before her passing on to glory served in Kumbu. The funeral mass that took place on January 4th was attended by many who came to pay their last respect, including Reverend Father Aka Cletus, who now reports.
On Saturday, January 4th, 2024, St. John the Evangelist Parish, Kumba Town witnessed an emotional farewell as religious leaders, family and friends gathered to honor the life of late Sister Bettina Dignoy. The Mass presided at by His Lordship Agabitus Mfon saw a host of priests from far and near joining the bereaved in mourning her passing. Sister Bettina, a member of the Sisters of St. Teresa of the Child Jesus of Boya, was well known for her selfless service, particularly during her time in Kumbu. Throughout her life, she dedicated herself to serving God and those around her, leaving a legacy of love and devotion to the church.
One of the things with Sister Albertine is that if she wants to eat, she eats her food. Even if you are laughing at her, she'll say, let me feel free. I didn't have this food in Ghana. She felt that free. That kind of a person that knows what she wants and what she likes. Another thing is that she will always make you laugh. And if you don't want to laugh, she will even start dancing for you to start laughing. Even if you're angry with her, she'll say, I'm sorry, well, please forgive me. And then soon she'll start laughing and dancing with you. You know, that kind of a person that can connect with everybody in the community, be a friend with everybody. I think those kind of persons are not common. I will miss her for that. She was an intelligent girl. She knew what she had to do and she would do what she has to do.
Sister Bettina was a peacemaker. Sister Bettina loved dancing. I pick up my dancing skills from her. And she's a very good singer. She's a mother. And she's a very good advisor. She encourages us. She was a strong woman. But I believe that God loved her more than us and called her to go ahead of us to intercede for us.
Her brother, reflecting on her life, shared how their family cherished many precious moments and memories with her. Despite her passing, those who love her are determined to keep her spirit alive in their hearts.
Sister was like a mother to us, a second mother to all of us. She was a peace bearer. She always tried to make sure all of us and the extended family is united. Every day she would call and tell us that if we have any issue, we should make sure we get to her. She always put it in prayers if she cannot help. Always trying to resolve all of the issues amongst her siblings. And today we are here. She's it's really sad. I just pray for people to follow our footsteps of always being a peace bearer. Thank you.
The words from Genesis chapter 3 verse 19 were echoed. From dust you are, and to dust you shall return. Though Sister Bettina is gone, she will be remembered in the community.
May her soul rest in peace. And onto our foreign page, the Operations and Advocacy Division Archer has revealed that more than 11.5 million people has been internally displaced in the ongoing conflict in Sudan, and Chad and Senegal has rebuked France's president over his statement on military agreements in Africa. This and more on our foreign page. Chad and Senegal have sharply criticized French President Emmanuel Macron's comments about the withdrawal of French troops from Africa, where he accused some African leaders of ingratitude and claimed their sovereignty depends on French military presence. Senegal Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko dismissed Macron's claim that troops withdrawal involved negotiations, calling it completely erroneous. He asserted Senegal's decision was made independently as a sovereign nation and accused France of destabilizing African countries, citing Libya as an example. Chad's Foreign Minister Abderrahman condemned Macron's remark as disrespectful to Africans and highlighted Chad's sacrifices during both world wars. Chad's withdrawal of French forces remains on schedule, with troops set to leave final base by January 31st, 2025. Indonesia has been admitted as a full member of the BRICS bloc of developing economies, the group's presiding country Brazil announced Monday. The Brazilian government welcomes Indonesia's entry into the BRICS, the government said in a statement, with the largest population and economy in Southeast Asia. Indonesia shares with other members a commitment to reforming global governance institutions and contributes positively to deepening Southwest cooperation. BRICS was formed by Brazil, Russia, India and China in 2019, and South Africa was added in 2010. Last year, the alliance expanded to embrace Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia and the United Arab Emirates. Saudi Arabia has been invited to join but has not yet done so. Turkey, Azerbaijan and Malaysia have formally applied to become members, and a few others have expressed interest. The Director of Operations and Advocacy Division OCHA, Edem Wosunu, said at the UN on Monday that more than 15.5 million people are now estimated to be internally displaced in Sudan, with nearly 8.8 million displaced since April 2023. Wosunu said that the ongoing conflict escalated in December, with fighting intensified in multiple regions. The 2025 Sudan Humanitarian Needs and Response Plan will require a record $4.2 billion to support close to 21 million people, according to Wosunu. That foreign page wrap up what we gathered for you this evening, but before we go, a reminder of our major stories once more. Buea remains the focus as Bishops of Cameroon officially kickstarts their annual seminar. The 48th session was launched today, characterized by various speeches from the religious authorities and administrative officials on the theme synodality. Vatican makes history, appoints first female prefect to the Dicastery for Institute of Consecrated Life and Societies of Apostolic Life. And in other news, schools in Buea Diocese have effectively taken up for the second term. The Education Secretary, Reverend Father Vincent Mesue, made stops to some of the schools to evaluate the effectiveness. And thanks so very much for joining us on Divine Mercy Prime this evening. We urge you to keep watching much more interesting programs here over your Darling TV, and we wish you all a wonderful and blessed evening.